Matt, 5 games to go, still very, very much in the hunt. How do you feel about this one at the weekend?
Yeah, exactly that. We're in the hunt. We're hunting. We've been having some consistency now for a little while. Performances have been good, and we have to keep chasing that. I genuinely feel like we could have a few more points on our total, but we haven't. So we are where we are, and we have to make sure that we go back out on Saturday afternoon and ready to try and get as many points as we can on the day.
The game against Portsmouth was incredibly intense, mentally and physically, I guess. How useful has the last few days been in terms of recovery and preparation for Watford?
Yeah, I think the whole weekend, was very intense. We working, in terms of preparing for Friday, recovering, going again Monday. It was an emotional weekend for the lads, so they've had a couple of days to try and get that energy back. We've trained today. The boys have trained well, and we're preparing, ready for what is going to be another tough game Saturday afternoon.
Playing high stakes games every single week, is that more mentally draining when you've got that kind of emotional energy that's expended every single weekend?
Yeah, I suppose it's a very good question. I'm sure it is, yeah, because there's so much riding on it, and everyone cares so much. We all want the best outcome in every single day, every single game. So you put everything that you've got into it, and with that comes the expenditure of that energy, right? So both emotional and physical in different moments. So of course we know that the stakes are high at the moment, and we're carrying that weight of expectation, that responsibility. But we relish it, and we're looking forward for more.
Not everything's going to go your way in the final 5 games of the season. How important is it that players emotionally regulate themselves, especially in periods when things aren't going your way?
Yeah. Again, another really good question. It's really important that we're level. We can't get too high and too low. We have to make sure that in the good moments we're prepared against getting too carried away, and also if something goes against us. As we've seen recently, we've gone behind in a couple of games recently, and never like going behind, but I like the way the boys have bounced back, and they've kept that level of intensity about them. So we have to make sure we carry that through.
You switch from a venue which had a very hostile atmosphere towards you to the complete opposite, where it's going to be much more encouraging and supportive. How much can the fans play a part in the 3 of the 5 games?
Yeah, huge role. Thank you for their support on Monday, following us down to Portsmouth, and on Friday against Hull as well. I thought they were amazing, and we're going to need. I've said it a number of times, and it's not lip service. It's so true. Every single person that supports us, every voice, every staff member here, every journalist following us who wants us to have a successful outcome to the season, we're all playing our part, and everyone's role is as important as the next person. So our supporters are really, really crucial. Every voice, every person is absolutely vital to us to achieve what we want to achieve. So I want to say thank you for the support they gave us over the weekend, and I'm looking forward to seeing them all there on Saturday.
What do you expect from Watford?
A very good technical team, athletically very gifted, real good players in forward areas who offer a real threat. So we have to make sure we're ready for that.
People look at their position in the table, and some people from outside might question how pumped up they're going to be. But I guess, as I said to Brody before, everyone's got something to play for, with its personal career progression.
Yeah, 100%. I think that everything is analysed. Every player is analysed. Every club, every game, every manager, everything's recorded and analysed. So everyone's got something to play for, and we're expecting a really tough opposition on Saturday.
Matt, obviously the game on Monday didn't quite end as well as you would have hoped with the late goal conceded. Is that something you've looked at this week, and how do you keep the boys going to hold on to those sort of results?
Yeah, I think that that's 2, isn't it, that we conceded late on with the penalty against Charlton and they've both come from the second phase of a set piece. So we have to make sure that we organise ourselves in the messy moments, the chaos of a second phase where you go from an organised part to a bit that's unorganised where the next delivery is coming in. And we have to make sure we organise ourselves quickly and take responsibility for men. We've spoken about that, but at the same time you don't want to over-egg it and get it into people's minds, right? So I think it's really important that we prepared against that. And we do the work that's necessary to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Watford this weekend, of course, as we've already referenced, and Ed's still in the dugout there. Obviously, Watford have a bit of a reputation for chopping and changing managers, but it's another new manager. What do you expect from a team of his?
Yeah, just again as I referenced, I think in forward areas they've got some really good players. I think that some really athletic players, some really technical players. I think that we're going to have to make sure we're organised against that and that we know that they carry those threats, and we have to make sure that, in the Championship every team has those, and we know that Watford carry them. So we have to make sure we're prepared for the game, which we will be, and we have to try and impose ourselves. I think if you look at the whole game in particular, we knew it, again, we were up against a really good team, but we're able to impose ourselves. So I think it's about getting the balance correct between preparing for your opposition, but also we want to be us, and we're proud to be us, and we want to make sure that we give a show of our best selves.
How have the boys been this week, injury-wise?
Yeah, fine. I think I don't think there's anything new. We've got a couple of the boys still working their way back that have missed a period of time, or a small period of time. Idemo and Jack have trained really well, so they're both getting closer again to being available. So I don't think there's anything new to report.
Cool. And lastly, just on your Manager of the Month nomination, how proud are you to get that, as you said earlier, in this sort of time of the season?
Yeah, thank you. I think it's good recognition for the players, if I'm honest, about how they've gone about their task and how they've been picking up points in what everyone keeps telling us is a really tough moment. We understand the situation, and for us to be able to get enough points on the board during the month to get that recognition is good for the lads, because it shows that they're heading in the right direction. And what it does do for me personally, and for us as a staff and for the group, is we want more. We want more points. We want to get ourselves above that line, and we're hunting that. So for me, it just gives you more ammunition to want more. Thank you. Thanks, Michael.